Recording secretary, let's start the meeting. All right. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of September the 7th, 2023 to order. And I'd like to ask Commissioner Irma Hargy to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please stand.
Ready? Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the secretary please call roll?
Commissioner Christie,
Here.
Commissioner Escamilla, Commissioner Hardy,
Here.
Commissioner Cornelius,
Present.
Commissioner Jauregui,
Here.
Commissioner Shipp, Vice Chair Rush, Vice Chair Marashi,
Here.
Chair Rush,
Present.
Chair quorum has been reached at 4:32.
Okay, all right. If I could remind everyone to please silence your cell phones and your electronic devices. Before we begin, I guess the first thing we have to do is address this issue of Commissioner Shipp, who is caring for an ailing relative, as I understand it, and he's asking to join us via Zoom. And so we have to have a vote by the body to approve or disapprove of him joining us on an emergency basis via Zoom. Yes, Commissioner Christie.
I have a question for that because I'm on the board of another organization. And when this came up as far as people doing Zoom, they said, and according to the attorneys and everyone else that are with, because we're under the Brown Act, and they said most definitely, if an illness or something, but it could only be no more than 2 times a year.
Mhm.
So that would present a problem, right, for him attending?
Right, well,
Because we need more than that.
I'm unaware that he's asked previously. Would this be his first time?
This would be the first time the commissioner is requesting to partake virtually using this this avenue. And Commissioner Christie is correct that it would be 1 out of 2 available options for the remainder of the calendar year.
Mhm. Okay. Any other comment? Okay, are there any other comments from commissioners?
Before taking a vote, Chair, the commissioner requesting the accommodation would need to disclose if there's anyone over the age of 18 present with them at wherever they're at. So if is commissionership available at the moment?
No,
Okay.
Commissionership is not on the line.
Okay.
What are we doing this for?
I sent him the Zoom link as he requested. He hasn't signed on Zoom just yet.
Okay, and by the way, the record should also show that Commissioner Escamilla is now present.
Yes, he arrived at 4:33.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Christie?
Yes, in my defense, I believe the chair last time was late by about 15 minutes, so it's going to be between the both of us.
I see. We are going to engage in tit for tat. All right. Okay, well, I would, I'm going to ask simply a vote of the body. I guess we should do a roll call vote of approve, allowing Commissioner Shipp to participate via Zoom on an emergency basis. This being one of 2 maximum times he has for the balance of this calendar year. Did I miss anything?
I just have a point of clarification. If we vote in the affirmative, but he doesn't show up, will that still be one of his 2 times? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, he made the request and so, I mean, he made the request, we've queued him up. The fact that he didn't sign on yet, that's on him. So that would be my position. So okay, so Madam Secretary, you want to do a roll call?
Do we have to have the motion?
I'm not aware that we have to have a motion. That's not a formal requirement.
Motion or not?
Technically not required.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It appears that he just joined Zoom.
Okay,
So
good.
can we ask him to make the formal request?
Commissioner Shipp, would you share with us the reason for your request today?
Commissioner Shipp, can you hear us? I'm not sure if he's having technical difficulties because it appears that he's on there. He's not, I don't know if he can hear us.
Chair, given that you have quorum otherwise, if you wish to keep the meeting moving forward, you may consider the voting members present to consider the consent calendar items and then revisit with Mr. Shipp at the onset of the public hearing calendar to see if he's available.
Okay, all right, we'll postpone that vote and proceed. Before we begin, I would like to remind my fellow commissioners to turn your microphones on when speaking and off when not speaking. And when speaking, please place a microphone about 4 inches away from you. Thank you. Members of the public may attend Historic Resource Commission meetings in person or virtually via Zoom. I now invite the Commission Secretary to describe the way the public can access and participate in this meeting.
This meeting is being live streamed via our portal at www.sana-ana.primegov.com/public/portal and to YouTube at www.youtube.com/City of Santa Ana videos. If you would like to provide a public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom, enter meeting ID number 816-6889-4649. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, select the hand icon to let us know that you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered. You can also join the meeting by calling 669-900-6833. Enter meeting ID number 816-6889-4649. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, press number 9 to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you are called upon, please press 6 to unmute yourself. For those who are attending this meeting in person and would like to provide public comment, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. All speakers will have 3 minutes to speak, and I will alert you when your time is up.
Moving on to public comments on non-agendized items. Madam Secretary, does anyone wish to speak?
If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you are participating via Zoom and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. I will wait a few seconds. Do you want to comment on non-agenda items?
When it's our turn.
She's on the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
so not at this, no. We do not have any speakers.
Okay. Moving on to the consent calendar, one motion for all consent items unless an item is pulled for separate discussion. Is there a motion to approve item A, the minutes from July the 6th, 2023? Item B, excused absences, if any, and item C, historic property preservation agreement for 302 West 4th Street.
Move to accept items A through C on the consent calendar.
Okay,
Second.
all right, we have a motion by Commissioner Cornelius and a second by Commissioner Christie to approve the consent calendars items in total. Madam Secretary, please call for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Cornelius,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
yes. Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Hauregi,
Yes.
Commissioner Ship,
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi,
Yes.
Chair Rush,
Aye.
motion approved by unanimous consent.
Okay,
It appears that Commissioner Ship's now on Zoom, if you
All
would
right.
want to proceed with that.
yeah. Okay, so let's now revisit the issue of simply taking a roll call vote about allowing Mr. Ship to, Commissioner Ship to participate due to his emergency circumstances this afternoon. But before we take the vote, Commissioner Ship, would you address the body and let us know what the pressing reason is for this request?
My 91-year-old father is on his last legs.
Okay. I'm not disputing this. This is a formality that's a requirement.
Well, it's not about a dispute. If I would have been there, I could have been there, but I can't. I can't leave my father in the condition that he's in.
I understand. Okay. All right. So let's proceed with a roll call vote, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Cornelius,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Hauregi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi,
Yes.
Chair Rush,
Aye.
motion approved by unanimous consent.
Okay. Certainly, Commissioner Ship, we send our best wishes and prayers for your dad's recovery. All right, let's move on. That concludes the consent calendar. Moving on to the business calendar session. I will now review the process for the public hearing so that everyone knows what to expect. Staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. The public hearing will be opened. The applicant will be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. Members of the public will be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. The public hearing will be closed. Discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Please note the formal action by the Historic Resources Commission shall become effective after the 10-day appeal period unless the City Council holds a public hearing on the matter. Then the formal action will become effective on the day following the hearing and decision by the City Council. An appeal from the decision or requirement of the commission must be filed with the clerk of the council and a copy sent to the planning department within 10 days of the date of the commission's action. The appeal may be made by any interested party, individual, or group. Our first item, this is the time and place for Historic Commission, Resource Commission application number 2023-17. Historic Register categorization number 2023-03 and Historic Property Preservation Agreement number 2023-09 for the property located at 1908 North Greenleaf Street, historically known as the Geddes Charlton House, located in the single-family residential R1 zoning district. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item?
Mr. Chair, I
Commissioner
visited,
Christie?
the home, but did not speak with the occupants.
Okay, any other commissioners? And that's Vice Chair Marashi and then Commissioner Harigi. Okay. And I did also visit the home and met the applicants as well. So anyone else have a comment on that? Okay, all right.
Chairman Rush, if I
Beg
may.
your pardon?
Chairman Rush, if I may, before we continue on.
Sure.
I just wanted to clarify that the Brown Act teleconferencing policy does require that commissionership be available both audio and video.
The commissionership be what?
Available on both audio and video.
Okay. Is Commissioner, am I missing? So he appears not to be on video.
I am on.
Can you turn your camera on?
Okay. Start video. Yes.
Also, would he have to disclose if there's anyone 18 years or older in the room?
That is required. However, he did make the statement that he was with his father, who is 95 years old, which qualifies as a disclosure of.
Mr. Ship, are we correct? The only other person in the room with you is your 91-year-old father?
Yeah, and he's sitting on the couch and he's not even and he's not paying no attention to this. He can't even hear this.
Okay,
Understood. Thank you.
all right. Andrea Dumovich Haywood will now provide a brief presentation.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. It's good to see you all again. Item number 1 is for the Historic Resource Commission application, Historic Register categorization, and the Historic Property Preservation Agreement for the Geddes Charlton House. Hopefully I said that okay. This item is a request to place the property addressed 1908 North Greenleaf Street on the Santa Ana Register and to execute a Mills Act agreement with the property owners. Staff recommends approval of this item. The Geddes Charlton House is a Tudor Revival style house constructed in 1934. It's located in the Floral Park National Register Historic District. It's also a district contributor to the National Register District. And because the district is on the National Register, it is therefore automatically listed in the California Register of Historical Resources. The architect and the builder are unknown, and the house qualifies for listing in the Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties under criterion 1 as an intact example of a Tudor Revival style in Santa Ana. The recommended categorization is key because it has a distinctive architectural style and quality reflective of the Tudor Revival style. Its character defining features of the house are include but are not limited to the following: the wood shake roof, The steeply pitched cross gable roof form with a secondary gable that projects to the east towards North Greenleaf Street. The minimal roof overhang with exposed rafters. The half timbering at both the front gable ends of the primary east facade. Stucco siding, the one stucco clad chimney at the north side facade. A side note is that the second chimney was added in 1988, therefore it's not a character defining feature. The main entrance door composed of a wooden door with a rectangular panel detail, also known as a Judas window, with a wrought iron decorative grille and metal hardware. Fixed wood window below the easternmost front gable at the primary facade, which is a multi-light muntin pattern, multi-light wood casement windows flanked by wood shutters. Original fenestration throughout, including single and double casement, multi-light wood windows and double hung wood windows. They have prominent wood window sill and wood shutter throughout. And it also includes a single metal vent under the projecting front gable and two round vents under the primary front gable. Another character defining feature is the metal mail slot that is adjacent to the primary entrance. The property's Hollywood driveway, the front yard lawn and landscaping, including mature trees and shrubs. And then lastly, as a side note, because the detached garage is not original, it is considered compatible to the historic site, but it is not a character defining feature. And then I just wanted to include this slide to give you an overview of the key category as a refresher. To count as the key category, the property must have a distinctive architectural style and quality, or it is a characteristic of a significant period in the history of the city, and or it is associated with a significant person or event in the city. Additional photos. So the far left photo, you can see the steeply pitched cross gable roof with the two front facing gables. The middle photo is the main entrance with the wood shake roof. And I also wanted to note that the owners have informed me that they wish to maintain the shake roof, which is an important feature of the building. And then the far right photo is the original multi-pane wood windows with the wood shutters. Staff recommends that the commission adopt a resolution to approve HRCA number 2023-17 and HRC 2023-03 and recommend the city council authorize HPPA number 2023-09. This concludes my presentation and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any commissioners have comments? Commissioner Christie?
Let's go back to some of the photos of the home, please. The front. Okay, as you know, we do have a view corridor. And if you look at it as we were walking around, you cannot see the structure from the sidewalk or the street due to the fact of the tree foliage that is blocking the distinct. And is there a condition that it be cut? Don't remove the trees or anything, but cut back so that we can see the outline of the home that we're putting of this Tudor style from the corridor anywhere.
Yes, Commissioner Christie, there is a condition that states that the trees will be pruned and maintained so that the public can enjoy the historic property from the public right of way.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments by commissioners? I have a comment.
I think Manny has it.
What? Oh, Manny, I'm sorry. Commissioner Escamilla?
Thank you for that, Chairman Rush. I guess this is more for staff. I'm just trying to figure out if we are kind of moving towards, either looking at requiring or documenting the site improvements. So, you know, the original intention of the Mills Act was really to allow property owners of historic properties to use their tax savings directly for the preservation, maintenance, and restoration of the home. Is there any sort of list or existing work that has been done, currently planned on being done, or will be done in the future, so we can kind of just tie that in together?
Yes. There were just only a handful of items for this particular property because it's in very good condition and not much needs to be done. But the owners did inform me they need to do a new roof replacement. And the roof is a character defining feature with the wood shingle. And they are amenable to keeping that same style. They don't want to change it. So if they have to find fire rated shingles, that would be the option. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Andrea, I had a question, if I may, back to the picture of the front door. You described that as a Judas door? What is
Oh, I'm
that?
sorry. Not the entire door. Can you see my mouse? This
Yeah,
Judas window, it's a small little peephole window, right? Is that right? It's a little window. So
so that's different than a wicket.
I'm not sure.
It would, so this little window is like a door, miniature door. It opens up, right? Okay. What's that? I can't hear him. I see. Okay. Well, I'm just a bit of nomenclature. I'm just curious, is a Judas window the same as a wicket? Now, maybe a Judas window is called that because this has got a little glass door versus a wicket, which is solid wood.
I would have to research. I'm not familiar with the wicket term. So I don't.
Hence the term when it won't open, you have a sticky
Okay.
wicket, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can find out if this one, it sounds like.
I'm just curious. I'd never heard that term Judas window. Anyway. Okay, now, one other question I had, and that is, I'm sorry, Commissioner Argy?
Yes, it is a Judas window. I work with the BIST and their house is registered historic. And when you have a little window that opens, whether it has glass or not, the small little window that opens, it is called the Judas window. So yes, I also saw the property and talked briefly to the homeowners. There's 2 windows that will be replaced. They're in the dormer in the back. They're vinyl and they will be in the process of replacing. They already ordered them and they're expecting them soon. So that is very good to know. Thank you.
Okay. The other question I had in that is there was mention made of the Hollywood driveway, right? And the Hollywood driveway in this instance has been filled in with brick, which a typical Hollywood driveway would be grass. So is that not part of we regard landscape as part of the historic features and elements of the home. In order for this to be a true Hollywood driveway, wouldn't that need to be grass?
My understanding was this is a Hollywood driveway, but if it does need to be fully grass to count.
Well, the whole point of a Hollywood driveway is you got grass up the middle. Otherwise, it's just a solid driveway.
This one does have grass in the middle.
I beg your pardon. I was there today and it's brick.
I'm sorry.
What do don't you have
Excuse
just
me,
one
Chair?
driveway going up on the south side of the house?
Chair, is there any possibility we can get her to come speak? Just
Yeah, why don't you come to the microphone, ma'am?
Chair, just to follow standard protocol of the meeting order, the engagement with the public
Okay,
and the applicant
yes,
happens during
all
the
right.
public hearing. So
All
I'd
right.
encourage the commission to pose their questions to staff, and then if there's anything that the
I'm
applicant
sorry.
can clarify, they can do so during the public hearing.
All right. Well, do we have any other questions by the commission before I open the public hearing? Okay. The public hearing is now open. And of course, would the applicant like to speak? Sir? Why don't you come forward to the microphone?
Driveway is concrete. There's two strips of concrete and in the middle there's the block out for the grass. There's two blockouts in the length of this driveway, and the first one is grass. And the second one, when we made the patio out of brick, we had them put that in there to add to the patio.
So this Hollywood driveway has two cutouts. The one closest to the curb is grass.
Right.
And then there's another section that was grass that has now been bricked in. Is that
Right.
correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Do the commission have any other questions of the applicant? All right. Recording secretary, have we received any written communication? Or is there a member of the public that would like to comment on this item?
We have not received written communication.
Okay, all right. The public hearing is now closed. And I do still have a question of staff here regarding this issue of the driveway. So I'm puzzled that we would call a bricked in Hollywood driveway a Hollywood driveway.
So your understanding is that the strips have to be grass and the middle is not grass?
Well, in this case, they've sort of got a hybrid situation. Part of it was grass. A Hollywood driveway has grass up the center,
Yes.
which is very typical for that vintage of home. It wasn't limited to Tudor style homes. I mean, I have one at my house and mine's a completely different architectural style, but it's very common of homes from the 20s and 30s, this Hollywood driveway. And so, but I'm just curious how we call it a Hollywood driveway if it's bricked in.
Guess I'm not understanding because there's a strip of grass. So for that part,
Imagine a driveway with a strip up the center. In their case, the strip apparently has been interrupted by a piece of concrete. So the portion, the rectangle closest to the street is grass, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Then there's a portion that's cement. Then there's another rectangular portion that was grass that at some point they decided to put brick in there. And I'm just saying that
Sure.
that's sort of negating this whole concept of a Hollywood driveway.
so we,
Yes, Madam Commissioner Hardy.
Chair Rush, my understanding of a Hollywood driveway is that you do have the strips of concrete that historically probably were originally there, and they could be infilled with gravel. Brick is not considered a permanent alteration. And
Even though
And-
they've been
and
submitted.
grass is an option. That's my understanding.
Okay, well, I won't debate that further. Okay, so is there a motion to approve this matter? And is there a second? Commissioner Christie?
I move that we adopt a resolution approving Historic Resource Commission application number 2023-17 and Historic Register categorization number 2023-3. Recommend that the city council authorize the city manager and clerk of the council to execute of the attached Mills Act agreement with the Peterson Living Trust dated August 15th, 2003. Donald and Patrice Peterson, subject to non-substantive changes approved by the city manager and city.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Hargy seconds. All right. Madam Secretary, please call for roll call vote.
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Cornelius,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Jauregi,
Yes.
Commissioner Ship,
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi,
Yes.
Chair Rush,
Aye.
motion approved by unanimous consent.
Okay. All right.
Everybody knows that, we all have our little sticky wickets. And mine is the view corridor. Thank you.
This is the time and place for the historic exterior modification application number 2023-06 for the property located at 2120 North Heliotrope Drive, located within the single-family residential R1 zoning district. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? And before you do that, please state your name.
Alberta Christie, I went by the property, but did not speak to the occupants.
Okay. Any other commissioners?
I also drove by the property, but did not talk to the property owners.
Commissioner Hargy, that was her comment. Anyone else?
Vice Chair Marashi, I have to recuse myself because I back up near the property well within the 500-foot radius.
And as Commission Chair Tim Rush, I did drive by the property also, but I did not speak to the homeowners. So, okay. All right, Andrea Dumovich Haywood will now provide a brief presentation. Andrea?
Thank you. Item number 2 is for a historic exterior modification application for the W.M. Bradley House. The application is for HEMA number 2023-06, located at 2120 North Heliotrope Drive. The project includes a historic exterior modification application to allow a rear addition of 771 square feet, which includes a new dining room, family room, and interior connection between structures, along with a new wood trellis. And I will note that the wood trellis is actually under staff approval, but we wanted to include it for your reference as part of this application, but it is under staff discretion because it's an accessory structure. Staff recommends approval of HEMA number 2023-06. The site aerial. Subject property is located in the Floral Park National Register Historic District on North Heliotrope Drive between West Santa Clara Avenue to the north and West 19th Street to the south. The W.M. Bradley House was constructed in 1950 in the ranch style. It was listed as number 715 on the Santa Ana Register in 2021 at the contributive category. It is also listed in the California Register of Historical Resources because it's on the National Register Historic District. Additionally, it is a contributor to the Floral Park National Register Historic District. Project description. The project includes a new 771 square foot rear west facade addition to accommodate the new dining room and family room. There will be a new interior connection between the existing detached bedroom and bathroom to the main house. Additionally, there will be a new 90 square foot partially open wood trellis that will be added across the driveway's width along the north facade. The addition will require the removal of 3 hung wood windows, 2 glazed pedestrian doors, a rear covered porch with porch posts, and an open patio. The addition will have 4 fully glazed movable panels or sliding doors that will be measuring at 9 feet 6 inches tall. The addition will have a flat roof, which will not be visible from the public right of way. And the interior connection will have a new roof clad in shingles to match that will be minimally visible from the north facade. Existing and proposed site plan. The proposed work is shaded in the red box, and the shaded areas designate what is changing. So you can kind of see there's 2 different shading styles, but the left side is where the new construction will be, and the right side is within the interior footprint. It's just the reconfiguration of space. The trellis is also to the north along the driveway. Demolition plan. The red box to the left is the existing open patio and the covered porch that will be demolished. The red box to the right shows the interior walls that will be removed for the kitchen / living room expansion. The proposed first floor plan. The top right of this drawing shows the new wood trellis that will be added across the driveway. Below is the new family room, the new mud room, dining room, and the kitchen, all in this space within the red box. And then just above that, that small red box right here is the new interior connection. So this is a new hallway that will connect this existing bedroom right here where my mouse is to the main house over here. And we have this garage that originally was the way to connect these 2 spaces, but now there will be a hallway, so it's more easily connected. Proposed roof plan. This slide shows the 2 new roof additions. The rear addition's flat roof will be entirely concealed, as I said, from the public right of way, and it will have a few skylights that will be added to it. The new interior connections roof will be minimally visible from the north facade, but will be integrated with the existing roof and shingles to match. So that new interior connection roof is right here where my mouse is. And then the flat roof is the larger box below. Existing and proposed rear west elevation. The top elevation shows existing conditions with the items outlined in red to be removed. They include the covered porch and the open patio, original wood hung windows, and 2 glazed pedestrian doors. Below is the proposed rear elevation with the new addition. Here you can see the glazed sliding doors, which are composed of 4 panels, right here where my mouse is. The purpose of this design was to simulate an open patio feel with the large panels of glass. The addition includes new wood clad posts and fixed glass between the posts. So that's kind of hard to see, but it's these narrow posts right here. And then in between the 2 is fixed glass. Again, to emulate a covered patio feel. The interior connections new exterior wall will be clad in the smooth stucco to match existing. Existing and proposed rear south elevation. The top elevation shows the existing conditions with the items in red to be removed. Here it includes a glazed door and a portion of the covered patio. And then below is the proposed south elevation. This elevation, there's only 2 panels of glass that you'll be able to see right here. And you can see that the addition's roof is lower than the existing building's roof line, so it will be entirely concealed at the back. Again, the top elevation, it shows the existing elevation, the north side elevation along the driveway, with no items to be proposed to be removed. The bottom image shows the 2 proposed changes. The 5-foot wide wood trellis will be added across the driveway, and the new roof will be visible for the internal connection. This project complies with the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation numbers 1 through 5 and 9 through 10. Standards 6 through 8 are not applicable. And this also complies with the guidelines for preserving, rehabilitating, restoring, and reconstructing historic buildings. And then I've included a summary of the standards that do not apply just as a refresher. Standard 6 relates to deteriorated historic features, which this project does not include. Standard 7 is for chemical or physical treatments, which again, we're not including. And then standard 8 relates to archaeology. Conditions of approval, these will be associated with this resolution. Number 1, in any real property transaction, the buyer shall receive notice that this property is listed on the city's historic register and is located within the Floral Park National Register Historic District. Number 2, the applicant shall work with planning division staff to install bronze plaque recognizing the structure historically known as the W.M. Bradley House. Staff recommends that the commission adopt a resolution approving a certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification application number 2023-06. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you. I'm open for questions.
Okay. Any commissioners have questions? We'll go with Commissioner Christie and then Commissioner Hardy, and then Commissioner Escamilla, and then Commissioner Harrigy. Did you say you had a question? Might as well, everybody else does. Okay, we'll start with Commissioner Christie.
Okay, if you can go back to the design, of one. Lots of mudroom, California don't have what? Padding, which doesn't have bad weather. The only mudroom I know is when I'm watching, house hunters and so forth back east. And they look for mudroom, which is one where they're coming in from inclement weather and coming into the house, taking off their snow clothes and everything else before they go in, and that's called the mudroom. What is a mudroom here? Okay, it says ex powder room here. I guess they're taking that out, but a mudroom. What's a mudroom? Maybe.
Sorry. I believe it's, as you just explained, I know that we don't have snow here, but it is a room that you come in before you go into the main room. So you can clean off your shoes. It's just an excess room.
Oh, okay. So you come in, take off your shoes and so forth before
That's-
you come in, and that's what they call it,
Historically, yes.
the mudroom. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm a California girl. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Commissioner Hardy.
Yes, Andrea, I have a question. So this is contributive. It's on the register as contributive. It's in a national district. So it doesn't change the status because the all the changes to the exterior are in the rear elevation and can't be seen from the street. So it's able to keep its categorization, even though when it was categorized, all the elevations were documented. So does that hold true for any listed structure, whether it's an industrial district or not?
Yes, yes. So historic properties are allowed to make modifications, but they do have to follow the Secretary of Interior standards. So as you said, it's in the rear, it's not visible. That's a huge reason why this is acceptable. And then it is respectful of the existing design. It does not overwhelm the design, minimal in style. And overall, the majority of character defining features, all of the primary facade features are left untouched, and the building still reads as a historic property.
Even though they're removing original features, so many windows.
Yes, and I believe they're removing 2 windows and 2 doors, so it's not a huge number. So that's why they do have, they still have a covered patio, right where my mouse is to the north. So a lot of the historic features are still intact.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Escamilla?
Thank you, Chair. So I guess just 3 quick questions. So in general, when we're speaking with applicants and going through the design review, are we essentially really trying to make sure that the new additions are visually and architecturally distinct, or are we trying to blend as much as possible? I just kind of want to know, what our evolving style guidelines are for these types of additions. I know, like, from a certain perspective, we might want to maintain a little bit more of the roof pitch, even though that might like eat into, what's kind of visible from the street. So it would modify it more, but then maybe it might be more in keeping and kind of keeping the entire site more cohesive from a kind of 360 perspective or 360-degree review perspective. So I'm just wondering in general, is that kind of what we're going towards, to just make it very distinct? Here's the addition, here's what was here before, and so that we don't confuse the two in order to meet the Secretaries of Interior standards?
That's a great question. And we did think a lot about that question for this particular application. It is actually a fine line. It is, so yes, we do, to answer your question, we do not want it to be too distinct, because then if it's not compatible with the historic property, it's sticking out. But on the flip side, we don't want it to be a mirror image and then no one knows what's original and what's not. And for this particular application, the applicants, their goal was to make this reflective of the covered porch and patio that they're removing. So that is why they proposed the larger glass sliding doors. And we did go through some iterations of the design, so it was more distinct before it came here today. So we did want to find that fine balance of it being distinct, but not overly distinct, if that helps.
It does. And really, I think it's just for, future applicants, if we can have a track record and kind of know what direction we're heading towards. So it is kind of that blend, not one or the other. I know certain cities, it's very, very distinct, like everything's brand new, like no brick, everything will be very modern on the 2nd and 3rd floor additions, but everything, on the main body will just be very architecturally intact. So makes sense to me. I just want to make sure that we treat every applicant fairly and they kind of know the guidelines so that we don't have to go through hopefully too many revisions. But appreciate the work on that. Question number 2, and I imagine this might be in the agreement, but generally are the items that are potentially architecturally salvageable going to be kind of saved or kind of worked with a local preservation organization, or at the very least sent to a recycling area? Because these historic wood windows do have some value. If there is anything that might make sense for that, just as a general requirement as part of these interior modifications, and anything involving demolition work, I think would be a good direction to go. And then number 3, just confirming, this is not on the Mills Act, it's just part of the historic register.
That's a good, no, this property does have a Mills Act. Yes, recently.
Recently.
Yes,
Okay.
2021.
Okay, so I guess maybe that's a little bit more concerning for me, because then if we give someone a tax break to basically preserve the home as is, and then we're coming back and then just modifying the home, I feel like more of the tax breaks are going for a room addition, which is great for the applicant, but not necessarily, again, original intent of the Mills Act. So that I guess worries me a little bit more then. That's all I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hargy, did you have a comment?
Yes, a comment. In California, we don't have mudrooms in the south part, but we do in the north. It's either a pantry, a laundry room, but it's a room accessing into the kitchen or the back of the house. So, but it's easier to describe as mudroom because back east and Midwest, that's very common. That's all.
Yeah,
An
it's just an
observation.
architectural transition term. Yeah. Okay, Andrea, I have a couple of questions. Do we know who the architect and builder was?
I have to refresh myself. I don't have that in front of me.
Is the applicant here? Might they know? Allison Honer. I guess I'm out of order, aren't I? Waiting for him to come up and speak. Sorry about that. Okay, with regard to the trellis that's scheduled to be installed, whose idea was this trellis?
The applicants requested a trellis.
Well, can you, okay, as I look at this, what is that trellis? What is it? What is it, 2x6s or something? I mean, part of my concern is that the front elevation as it addresses the street, which is its primary elevation, and that's not original, okay? Additionally, you know, is this wood trellis in about 10.2 years is going to be twisted into kindling. I mean, the likely, you know, it's just not going to last in our, and unless they do a spectacular job of keeping it sanded and primed and painted on an every third year basis. But I guess maintenance is not our concern per se, but I'm more concerned with its effect upon the appearance because we are being asked to approve some substantial modifications to the rear of the property, which I get is not largely visible, really isn't visible at all from the street. But this is a component that is visible from the street.
Yes, so we have worked with the applicant. Originally, the proposal was a larger trellis, and we did not want to overwhelm because it, as you pointed out, it is the primary facade visible from the street. This view that we're actually looking at right now, let me zoom out to this. Okay, here we go. So the entire site, there's actually quite a long driveway where my mouse is all the way down here.
Mhm.
I did ask the current designer, how far is this distance? And I believe she said it was 81 feet from the sidewalk. So it is tucked way back. And the reasoning was that it's very bright and with the driveway right there. So they are looking to provide some kind of shade. And we did include the trellis in the Secretary of Interior standards analysis for this project. And the reasoning to approve it was because it is temporary, as you said, it's temporary in nature. So it can be removed. It's not altering the character defining features of the home.
Well, okay, one other question, and that is with regard to the north elevation. You switch back to that slide. Okay. You see the red rectangle to the right? There's two rectangles, one that's more vertical, one that's more horizontal. Okay, so the one to the right, to my right, okay, says new roof for internal connection. And as I look at that, it almost looks like we have this valley that's coming down exactly over a doorway. Is that a doorway there? I don't know. That just seems to be, that's got trouble written all over it to me.
Let me go. Let me find the site plan. So here it is right here. This is the garage roof. This is the main house. And let me see what's existing conditions. Okay. So there is a doorway right here. So I believe it is going right over here.
Huh?
I believe that the new roof is going right over here.
So there's going to be a valley right there over the door.
No.
We'll wait for a response from the applicant when he gets up here. Do we have any other questions from commissioners? Okay, all right. Well, I'll now open the public hearing and I'm going to ask, would the applicant like to come forward to speak?
Hi, everybody. So regarding the valley, the existing roof line, it's hard to explain, but above the garage, if we go back to that north facing elevation, it already creates a natural kind of valley, but the overhang is above the garage. So the flow of water doesn't really impede over the doorway. Hard to explain.
Okay, I mean, I guess if you're okay with it, I won't. And Andrea, you've given it your blessing. I don't know, to me, it just looks like a problem. But
It wouldn't affect the water any differently than how it's already flowing.
what's that?
It wouldn't affect the water any differently than how it's currently flowing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Because we used to say it didn't rain in California, but that's not
Yeah.
categorically true anymore.
Yeah.
So, okay. Do any commission have any questions of the applicant?
Mr. T, if you will, just talk about the project.
Sure.
and How it came about and.
Sure. So when
Going
we first moved into the house, it's a 2-bedroom in the main house, and then we have a detached bedroom that was added back in period. So we just had our first child. So we have a little 1.5-year-old. So at the moment, she has one of the bedrooms, and me and my wife have another bedroom, and we're trying to have a second child. So if we have a second child, we would be forced to live in that back bedroom, which is disconnected. And my wife was not going to approve of us living in a disconnected rear bedroom. So the whole
You might
purpose of-
find it to be a good idea.
I wouldn't mind. So the purpose of the addition is actually, as you can see, to connect the rest of the main house to the rear bedroom. So adding that, building out that courtyard living space would allow for that connection to the rear bedroom.
Okay, are there any other questions? Madam Secretary, have we received any written comments or calls or anything?
We have not received written communication. If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and you would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9, then 6 to unmute yourself. I will wait a few seconds. Chair, we don't have any speakers.
Okay, all right. Maybe you could answer my question about, with regard to the trellis. Tell me what the structure is going to be built out of.
It'll be built out of wood, so it will have to be regularly maintained. We do spend a lot of effort to maintain our landscaping and all the woodwork on the exterior of the house, including the windows and the doors. I've already refinished all of the windows and doors, the original windows and doors since we've moved in. So it will be, part of a fixture that we regularly maintain. But the purpose of the trellis is because that car parking area, it's almost like a courtyard as well. It's walled on 3 sides, the house being one side, the garage being another side, and then a wall separating me and my neighbor's house on the other side. And it's all white. So it's very, very bright. Looking down the driveway, it's such a long driveway. It's not a very aesthetic looking kind of corridor. So we wanted to put the trellis there to add some shade and to break apart all that whiteness.
And it's what, 2x6s? That's going to be the.
I'm not sure what the architect has planned, but just,
Okay,
probably I would think 2x6.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, it appears there's no other comments, no other questions. So at this time, I will close the public hearing. Thank you, sir. Okay, do we have a motion to approve this matter and a second? And what happened to Commissioner Marashi?
Recused,
He had to recuse himself.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
And I move to approve the agenda item.
Okay,
Oh, we gotta read this.
Commissioner Cornelius has made a motion to
Here.
approve.
Here, he has to read this.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Right at the top.
I move that we adopt a resolution approving a certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification application number 2023-06.
Second.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Christie, okay, all right. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, you want to call the roll?
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Cornelius.
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Jauregui,
Yes.
Commissioner Ship,
Aye.
Chair Rush.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Vice Chair Marashi dissenting. No, sorry, not dissenting,
Recusing,
abstaining.
abstaining. Okay, all right. All right, that concludes the business calendar. Now moving on to staff comments. Chair, let's see, are there any staff comments for us today?
Thank you, Chair, and thanks for another great evening. Just two quick updates. The first is that we're continuing to make efforts on a Mills Act self-reporting program. Our IT department is helping us launch a webpage that's going to contain information for the public and Mills Act holders to be able to learn more about what it means to have a Mills Act contract on their property, and then create a portal by which we can begin to communicate with these owners and ask them to begin self-reporting in batches over the coming years. So as that rolls out, as we've done on past meetings, we'll continue to provide updates to the commission. Secondly, on the lines of web updates, we are also working with our IT department to reactivate and relaunch our Historic Preservation Awards nomination forms so that we can begin to continue accepting awards nominations in the future. So as that becomes live, we'll really collaborate and count on your support as commissioners to help us get the word out about that opportunity to celebrate preservation and projects of importance in the community, and might even look to the commission to appoint an ad hoc committee to help review those applications and tee them up for recognition next year. So please feel free to check in anytime, but our goal is to provide these updates as they become available during these commission meetings. Thank you.
Any other staff comments? This is your chance. No?
Just one more since he's not here, but it's with sadness that we announced that Chief Assistant City Attorney John Funk has accepted another opportunity to work as city attorney for the city of Downey. He is still employed by the city as of this moment, but he'll be leaving us in the coming days now, it seems. So we'll have additional staff from the city attorney's office, including Brandon this evening, assisting you in your functions as we did tonight. But we congratulate John, and I'm sure you have similar sentiments. If you'd like to send him a note or anything, we'd be happy to make his information available to you.
When is his last day here?
As of right now, I believe he is scheduled to be here through September 14th. So next Thursday.
Oh, well, it's right around the corner. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll move on now to commissioner comments. And I'll start with Commissioner Hargy to my left.
I do have a couple of comments. First, I'm on the board of the E-Bill Society, and we will be having an open house to invite all leadership, neighborhood associations, and people interested to get to know the E-Bill. It will be turning 100 next year. The society is about 130, and that will be October 18th from 5:30 to 7:30. Put it on your calendars, open house, and invite anybody who wants to see this beautiful building. Second, I have a question. I just had this thought. it would be nice to have a workshop to tell people who have homes that are considering putting them historic for efficiency time, to have a workshop and have them come and explain how it works and answer questions instead of one by one or neighborhood by neighborhood. To have a workshop, I think that would be interesting. Just a thought. Thank you.
Commissioner Escamilla.
All right, thank you. So I guess the first comment is a comment for myself. So I still owe staff and the chair a list of potential sites to look at for historic nomination that we haven't recognized yet. So I know I still owe you that list. So that's a comment for myself more than anything. The second comment is so the Orange Legacy Alliance is going to be having and hosting a presentation on the works of Walton Beckett, so the architect that designed their civic center. Unfortunately, I will be out of town that day, but it's on September 16th at 3 p.m. Over at the Orange Civic Center. So it should be an interesting historic presentation for anyone that's watching this and interested in historic preservation. Number two, there was also some recent work over at the Santa Ana Unified School District to restore the mural of Sergio Cadiz over at Fremont Elementary. So some really interesting preservation work that the school district was doing. They also intend on identifying and restoring other works. I know that they have in Emilio Vasquez that's kind of hidden away in the corner of Madison Park and the Madison Elementary over there. So they might be looking for some restoration work and other sites of historic murals within school district properties. So those are the two things that I have for today.
All right, Commissioner Marashi.
I want to thank the staff very much for the excellent presentations today and to the homeowners. Congratulations. Commissioner Shipp, my heartfelt best wishes and prayers go out to you and your father. And I also want to thank the city very much for signing us up for the classes with the historic preservation. Gotten a lot out of it. So thank you very much. That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Christie.
Yes, and Dwayne, and I'll put you and the father on my prayer list, okay? And I just want to thank the applicants that have come. Thank you so much for, preserving our treasures that we have here in the city of Santa Ana. It's so important for the future history. And we appreciate you guys doing this. And also I have to piggyback on what Vice Chair Marachi said about the courses. I mean, I've learned so much, and we have a next one that's coming up next week, if I'm not mistaken. And the presenters are just absolutely phenomenal. And it's interesting also that it's 2 hours long, but you don't know that's 2 hours long because all over they have questions from different people dealing with historic, and you go, oh, I never thought of that, but we always learn something new. And thank you once again, and I hope that we will continue on this education path as we are commissioners here on this. It only helps our jobs when these projects come before us. And anyway, and John Funk, you tell him we're going to miss him, okay? But one thing about Santa Ana, we groomed the next leaderships in other cities. They go in and they become stellar performers in those cities. So, but I wish you well on it continuing. And thank you, everyone. And thank you, staff, for your presentations.
Commissioner Cornelius.
Just best regards, best wishes, condolences to Commissioner Shipp and his father. Thank you, staff, for your comments and hard work. Congratulations, applicants. That's all I got.
Commissioner Hardy.
Yes, I'd like to say that I'm very pleased to hear that the Historic Preservation Award Program is going to be reinstated. That's good news. Hopefully spring 2024, we'll have some nominations. It'll be up and running. There was something else. Okay, I don't recall what it was. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Rush. Heritage Park neighborhood is going to be having a Halloween front yard decorating contest, front porch decorating contest. Judging will take place on October 13th. And there'll be 13 winners and they'll be identified by yard signs with number 1 to 13.
And that's
So
when, October what? What day
judging
is
will
the
take
judging?
place on October 13th.
Oh.
So look for yard signs, October 13th to the 31st. And everyone's welcome to participate. Thank you.
Sounds like a very scary event. Haha. I'll keep my day job. All right, I want to thank the applicants who we approved today, and of course, one of them is still here. So congratulations to you. I know you went to a lot of expense and work. Also, thanks to the staff again for your diligent work as well. These are certainly not cookie cutter applications. I mean, every property is different and has its special nuances, that's for sure. So, but Andrea, you and I do need to have a sidebar about, we're going to get to the bottom about Wickets versus Judas window. Okay. So we're going to have a chat about that and about Hollywood driveways. Okay.
Sounds good.
Because I believe that a driveway that's been bricked in is an abomination, but I didn't follow my sword today over that, but it does trouble me.
Chair, just one thing, I'm not sure if Commissioner Shipp has made his comments yet either before we close.
Oh, that's right. Yes, how rude of me. I'm so sorry. Commissioner Shipp, I'm going to defer the balance of my comments. We're going to ask you to make your comments and so please let us hear from you. We saved the very best commissioner to last.
Thank you very much. I was wondering, was I going to get left out or not? But I would like to say I totally agree with the comments in regards of creating a workshop for applicants. I believe that it would encourage more people to become applicants if they knew more about it. I agree 100% with the commissioner that said that. Also, I would like to say congratulations to the applicants and thanks to staff as well. And I appreciate all of you guys' concerns in regards of my father. You know, it's been real hard. I haven't spoke about it, but you know, it's about that time. And if it was any other situations, I'm breaking up now, excuse me. If it was any other situation, I would have been present, but I can't leave at this point. So I thank you guys for understanding the situation and I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Shipp. And again, our hearts and prayers go out to you and to your father. So, okay, back to my comments. So anyway, we'll have a sidebar about a couple of those issues that until we do that, it will keep me awake at night. So, Commissioner Escamilla got to the announcement about the William Beckett lecture before I did, and good for him for that. However, I happened to talk to one of the organizers just before our meeting today, and it's currently, well, even though the tickets were free, it's sold out. Now, I am going to see if they can make an arrangement to Zoom or whatever the appropriate technology would be, since undoubtedly there will be more because there's only 156 seats in the auditorium of the Orange Civic Center.
And I just wanted to correct myself too, because I think I made the same mispronunciation. Welton Beckett, not William Beckett, but I keep making the same mistake on the name.
Yes. Welton Beckett, who was also the architect of our 888 North Main building. If you go in the lobby, you will see a plaque dedicated to his memory and his biography there. But he was, of course, he was one of the architects of the LA International Airport as well. So it is interesting that Orange has this mid-century civic center right in the middle of their very 1920s, 30s downtown. So That's kind of an interesting item, but you might check
Chair.
with the Preserve Orange County website, which is preserveorangecounty.org, and see as to links that might be available to see it on Zoom or whatever. Yes, Commissioner Christie.
That was my question. Are you gonna send information out to us? You know, about all these historic events? Or how do we follow? How do we know? How do we access this? So we
well-
go through Preserve Orange County. Will you send us
Yeah.
out that information?
I would be happy. What I'll do is I'll send it to the city and then the city can forward it out.
Okay.
However, if you're a donor presently to Preserve Orange County, that you would get that,
I
you know,
knew something was gonna happen.
I know that's so shallow on my part, but you know, huh? Or a member, that's right. Yeah, that's it. There's also a presentation, which I think I had mentioned at our last meeting on the 23rd of September, which is a preservation roundtable. It's free. It's open to preservation folks from all 34 cities in the county. It's going to be at a Methodist church in Costa Mesa. I'll send that information to staff as well and they can get it out. So it goes from 9 a.m. to 1, lunch is included and it's free. But the whole purpose is to get preservation folks from around the county together to share what's going on in their corner of Orange County with regard to preservation, not history, but preservation issues.
Chairman Rush, could you send information about that event to the staff as well?
I will, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was I had another comment. So I guess this is how it starts. Next thing you know, I won't be wearing pants. So anyway, I know. The last thing I wanted to mention, and that is at our next meeting, I know we'll be looking forward to a staff report on your collaborative meeting with the design review committees for French Park and Henninger Park. Yeah, so I will be looking forward to that. So, okay, that concludes my comments, and I guess our next meeting we will stand in adjournment until our next meeting on the 4th of October. Is that right? And that's a special meeting regarding a HEMA request.
That's right. It is a matter of time sensitivity. So to the extent that the commission can continue to confirm attendance with Nubia or any changes that you anticipate, please let us know as soon as you are able to, and it will be a special meeting.
And it'll be here.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Very good. All right. Anything else to come before us?
No,
All right.
just one thing I noticed the other day was a new book has come out on Santa Ana. Did you see that? The City Walk, Santa Ana in 1895. Just was published. I saw that in the Post newsletter. Just
Really?
something to pick up.
Who's the author? Huh, how interesting. All right, well, we'll have to look for that.